Okay, well, I first off want to take a real quick survey. I want to see how you guys got here today. Some of you probably got here by bus, you might have walked, you might have rode a bike here. But I want you to raise your hands. How many of you drove here by yourself? You were the only person in the vehicle. Go ahead and raise your hands. Alright, I want you guys to look around and see the hands that are raised. I want you guys to kind of keep this in the back of your mind, alright? So, in my undergrad, I started doing some preliminary research to really see what excited me, what got me going, what I would want to get up at the beginning of the day and research and be excited about and really dedicate a lot more of my time to. So, I found this statistic. This is from National Geographic. It's from the Green Dex report. It's a survey that they do for all of the most industrialized nations across the world. And as you can see here, this statistic directly relates to what you guys just did. We're second to worst for driving alone, meaning we'd rather drive alone in our car or our truck or our SUV than sit in a car with somebody else or ride a bus or ride a bike and actually have to conversate with somebody else. So, this was kind of a really interesting statistic, and realistically when you think about France, if you look at some of their vehicles, they're much smaller vehicles, so their carbon emissions from that is probably a little bit skewed. That doesn't directly show that in this graph. So I started looking and I went to the Department of Energy's website and I looked up basically the greenhouse gas emissions from vehicles. And as you can see, the transportation sector, out of all the other energy sectors, it contributes roughly 1/3 of all greenhouse gases to our environment. So it's kind of a bad statistic. And it's something that I felt like I could actually contribute and research and kind of help out and maybe get more involved in sustainable transportation in general. So a couple years ago in one of my transportation systems classes, my instructor came to our class and asked us what we wanted to do. He wanted to do a class that was a little bit different. Well, we kind of decided that we wanted to do a conversion. So we converted a golf cart from gas to electric, and then just this past year we added solar to it. Converting from gas to electric was fairly simple, it was easy. Adding solar was obviously a challenge and it was a learning curve. But I did some calculations to see if it was worthwhile, and just doing some really quick surveys from the golf courses around town, I found out the miles that a golf cart might use in a year, and I did some quick conversions, and roughly 10,000 pounds of CO2 emissions are not emitted by this vehicle. So every golf cart every year can roughly emit 10,000 pounds of CO2 emissions. So this thing can drive independent of itself, charge in the sun all day long, and not contribute at all to the greenhouse emissions. Well, that was just kind of a smaller project, and it's something that I eventually wanted to move into something bigger. And as you can see here, it's got a logo here for the solar vehicle team, and so I started a solar vehicle team really 2 years ago, and so we decided we want to get into something a little bit more realistic. So this solar vehicle here is it's built for a collegiate race. It's an international collegiate race. This summer we'll be racing at the Formula Sun Grand Prix in Austin, Texas. There's going to be about 20 teams from across the world there that we're going to be competing against, including the University of Michigan. And we're basically going to race this vehicle not only to compete, but also to get students and the community and stuff involved and excited about a project, and so that we could find out and research the viability of a fully independently powered solar-powered vehicle. So right now this is our vehicle. In the future what we're planning on doing is building a two-seater, something that's more feasible for today, something where you will actually have to drive with somebody else. And but that vehicle will look more like a coupe, because right now if you look outside, if you come out and look at this vehicle, it kind of looks alien-like or like a spaceship. It's not a boat, but it is something that's really cool, and it has a lot of technology into it, and something that's viable, that's available for us today. So solar-powered transportation might not be the only solution, but it's definitely something that we can look at and is available to us today, and we can expand upon, and it can really, really help offset some of these greenhouse gases. Thank you.